One day I took all my life's problems and I condensed them into two drugs I'd said I'd never use. I started using heroin, started smoking crack, and that's really where my life began to spiral out of control.
And at what point, what year was this?
I would say back in about 2010,
Okay.
2011-ish. And so during that period of my life, actually became homeless. My family, really just couldn't watch me destroy my life anymore. My shenanigans was stealing my family's peace, their joy. Way back then, I would wake up and instantly after I didn't even want to get out of bed unless I had drugs to get out of bed too. And as soon as my feet rolled off out of the bed onto the ground, I was dashing to where my drug stash was. And my breakfast was prescription pain pills or heroin. And that's what I needed to do to get my day started. Immediately after, a cigarette. And then I would go to work. I would work hard, physically hard, being an iron worker. And
so you would work on drugs?
I would work high, yeah. I would be up hundreds of feet, up in the air, with taking off a roof for a building.
Do you think you're
working at WCI,
Did your coworkers know, do you think?
Yeah, it was obvious. I always went out there and I really worked hard, and I would, be there about, 85% of the time. I would get there, but if there was a case where I didn't have drugs to go to work or whatever, then I would have to try to find a way to get them before work a lot of times, or schedule pickups on my lunch break. People dropping stuff off in my car. Just the whole way of thinking, my whole obsession and my whole way of life was just focused in on drugs. And I believe if I didn't go to Teen Challenge before my 30th birthday, I was 29 years old and 11 months when I made the decision to go. I wouldn't have made it to 30, just because at that point in my life, I was so broken that I didn't even want to live. I take blood thinners, and I didn't even take my blood thinners. I was living so reckless, I was hoping that somebody would just put me out of my misery, because I just didn't want to bear life. Life was too tough for me. I just didn't want to deal with life's terms. And God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. Being an addict took a lot of work. It took a lot of conniving. It took a lot of bribing. You had to think outside the box. To get constantly, every single day, I was spending hundreds of dollars on drugs, and if I didn't have the drugs, I was sick, and it just was a monster to be around. And so I've brought that same intensity and that same work ethic that I learned as an iron worker, and brought it into just being a do-gooder, and I just try to do good now. That's how I just live my life. I think, kindness is, one act of kindness is never wasted, and I just try to be a kind person.
What would be your message to someone who's maybe watching this that, is thinking about taking that step? What would you tell them?
I would say that, faith, love, and hope are three great tools. You have to believe in yourself, and when you look in the mirror, you have to see, a lion, not a kitty cat. And I would say, step out in faith and have a little belief in yourself that you can change. Here at the Warren Family Mission, we provide free shelter. We have transitional living for work. If you're like just down and out, need a place to stay, you can come into our work program. You have to pee clean. Once you pee clean, then you can get in that work program, and you can go to work and live at the mission. If you're struggling with a life controlling issue, I just would encourage you to come in. There's a lot of love at the men's program. When you hit the door, you can feel the love. Our staff over there does a fantastic job. We're truly blessed to have such the dedicated staff that we have. And